Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to continue with the squat series today. We've covered hamstrings, inner thigh, calves. Today we're going to cover your outer thigh and your outer hip. This is going to help to get a little bit wider in your stance, a little more comfortably. It's not going to be the same as really the inner hip stretch, but if these muscles back here are tight, then it can be kind of painful when you set your feet wider. So it's important to stretch these out just from a comfort standpoint and really from a balance standpoint too. When your inner thighs are really tight, it's going to make your outer thighs really tight because they have to pull against each other. And this is going to help open everything up from a balance standpoint. So we're going to start out simply, and then I'm going to show you ways you can make it a little bit more challenging. I'm going to be doing my right leg. Obviously, as before, you want to stretch both legs. So start by simply getting into kind of a simple lunge position here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your foot around inside here like this. So this is basic. If you're already feeling a stretch or if it's a little bit too uncomfortable, you can move your knee a little bit further to the outside. That'll relieve the stretch. For more stretch, you can bring it further across. Now when you bring your leg across this way, you're going to tend to want to rotate your hips. Don't let your hips rotate, keep your hips square. So just so you can see, the more I bring my hip across, the more my body is going to want to rotate. Again, don't let your body rotate, keep your hips square and kind of put a little pressure into your hip towards the outside. Okay, if you're still needing a little bit more stretch, you can sink down and drop your hip. Keeping your chest up is going to give you a little bit better stretch than bringing your chest down. So if you need to relieve the stretch a little bit, drop your chest. If you need more stretch, you can come up. So just so you can see from the other side here, I'm a little short on room here. Okay, and again, the more you push your hip into this stretch, the more intense the stretch is going to be. Okay, the next way that we can increase the stretch, and this is going to be fairly advanced, is you're going to rotate your body around. Let me see if I can find a decent spot here. Rotate your body around. So you're going to keep your knees set, and you're going to walk, in my case, the left foot around, and you're going to keep your shin in the same spot and keep walking around until you have a nice 90-degree bend in your leg. And you can hang out here. Now, to relieve the stretch, you can come up higher. To increase the stretch, you can sink down into it. Okay, and this is going to give you a really strong stretch on the outside of your leg and the outside of your hip. The thing you have to be careful about is you don't want to force this because it can put a lot of tension on your knee. So if you start feeling some tightness in your knee, do not go any further, and you definitely probably want to back off. If you have a lack of range of motion in the hip, then your knee is going to try and take up and offer a little extra range of motion. There should be a little bit of rotation available in the knee, but not very much, and you definitely don't want to force the knee to try and do what the hip should be doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up with big problems like knee surgery or knee replacement. So, one more time. Simple. Okay, and a little more advanced. So, now we've hit both sides of the hip, we've hit the back of the leg on both the hamstring side and the calf side. Like, share. If you have questions, hit me up with comments. Happy stretching.